In this video, I'm going to share 3 quick and simple ideas to create artwork to add color, texture, and interest to your home. All of these can easily be made in one afternoon with supplies you might already have on hand. So thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've been on Pinterest looking at inspiration for art in my home and came across beautiful pieces that seemed very simple to recreate with supplies I already had in my sewing and my yarn stash. So apart from the frames, I spent next to nothing on this project. First piece is a fabric swatch board that I created using swatches from a past fabric purchase. I've had this sample booklet of linen for at least 3 years. It's full of different colors and prints of linen, all cut in the same dimensions. So if you don't already have a pre-cut booklet of swatches, you could easily cut squares from fabric that you already own. The more variety of colors and prints that you have, the better. The frame that I'm using is 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. It's a square frame, and I also added a black cardboard mount as a nice dramatic finish. I took the squares and started to randomly place the colors and the prints until I was happy with the arrangement. I made sure that the spacing looked even, and then I simply secured each piece of fabric to the backing with tape. It really was as simple as that. It was a lot of fun to kind of move the shapes around and see which colors looked best together, but really the randomness and leaning on the randomness brought the best piece. It made it feel like it was more organic and less planned. I can't tell you how much joy this simple piece has brought me from making it to now the finished piece. I just love the playfulness that it brings to my space. You guys know I love Squarespace. I talk about them all the time. They are the #1 platform to build an online presence. I personally think so because I have been using them for years now. I just really enjoy the experience that I've had, their level of service, and the different features that I'm able to incorporate into my online space. So start a newsletter, collect memberships, schedule appointments. Squarespace has a lot of features that cater to your needs. So definitely check out Squarespace. There's a link in the description for you to start a free trial with them to play around and see what you think. Then when you're ready to launch, you can get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using my code. This next piece is nearly just as simple as the last, though you will need a sewing machine to create the gathered effect. I cut a piece of scrap fabric to the size of the frame that I wanted to use. And then I started sewing straight lines vertically at random using the longest stitch length on my machine. Just be sure don't backstitch at the beginning or the end in order to make the gathers. So holding on to the top string, I pulled the fabric to make the gathers, and I repeated this step until I made enough gathers across the width that I was happy with. Again, I wanted this to be a little bit more organic, so I didn't really measure, and I just went with the flow. This piece leans a lot more farmhouse than the modern swatch board, but it is amazing the impact a few stitches can make. finally, I took scraps from my yarn stash and took a moment to brush up on my crochet skills. I know this is Well Love Knits, but I didn't do a knitting piece for this. This one is crochet. Admittedly, all I can do on a crochet hook is make a granny square, but even something so simple looks great in a frame. I'll leave links to the YouTube tutorials that I followed to learn how to crochet a granny square from start to finish. I took more scrap fabric from my stash to act as the backing and then assembled it in the frame. The only thing that I'd caution you about this one in particular is that if you use thick yarn for your granny square, please be careful with the glass frames. I cracked some glass due to squeezing in too many layers into the frame, so that's something you need to watch out for. But when it all works out, this 5-minute framed granny square added a little something extra to my living room. And there you have it. Those are the 3 quick and simple project ideas to brighten any empty corner of your home. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, definitely give it a like. That really helps me out. Maybe subscribe if you like more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!